I'm Father John Toepfer, Capuchin Franciscan. I'm currently pastor of Our Lady of Guadalupe Parish in Colorado Springs, Colorado. It's a joy to be with you today. So the next question I have here is from Emma Sanchi, and she says, is the Capuchin adherence to a life of poverty considered an act of social equity, or is this practice solely spiritual? And in this line of thought, how does the Capuchin charism view suffering? Well, first of all, we Capuchins embrace poverty so that we can be free to serve the Lord without an attachment to material things. And so it enables us to be free, to do what we need to do in the service of the Lord without having to care for a house or all kinds of other material wealth. And so there's a certain practicality in our poverty, this detachment from material things. But I would also say that a huge part of living this vow of poverty is to be in solidarity with the poor. We want to be with the poor, those who have little in this world, and we want to meet Christ in them. And so often you'll find Capuchin Franciscans working along and living alongside the poor. And when we seek to go into a new town, we won't look in the wealthy neighborhood for a place to live. We try to go to the place where the poor live and to set up our fraternity there so that we can live among the people we serve. And part of that too is we want to serve the people who are most in need of our care. I think it was Pope Paul VI who called the Capuchin Franciscans the Marines of the Church. We go where no one else goes. We want to be among Christ in the suffering, among Christ in the poor. And practically speaking, right now in our province of Mid-America, 3 of our parishes are serving immigrants. People who are getting adjusted to a new country, a new way of life, a new language, and who want to live their Catholic faith deeply, and we're here to help them do that. My own family has roots in Ireland and in the Volga region of Russia, and it was Capuchin Franciscans who ministered to them 140 years ago when they came to the United States and could speak only German, some of them. And it was the Capuchins who reached out to them in the plains of western Kansas. So that's very much a part of who we are as well. So our life of poverty enables us to be able to do that, to go where we're most needed. We can just pick up and go. There's stories told of old-time Capuchins who would get on the train in western Kansas and wrap all their earthly belongings in their handkerchief. And I hope that I can do that someday. But it's part of that detachment that makes us free to serve the Lord and His people. Now, Emma says, is this an act of social equity? Well, I don't think that we do it for a political reason or necessarily to say that we are as poor as the poor. Obviously, we're people of means. We don't suffer in the same way that someone who is truly physically poor suffers. But we do try to live as simply as we can so that we can have compassion and understanding and walk along with the poor and to help them to better their lives. Poverty in and of itself is not a good thing. People need to have food and clothing and shelter. But for us, I guess in a spiritual kind of way, we want to be simple in the way that we live. And there's an old Capuchin saying that says that we ought to live with the minimum necessary, not the maximum allowed. That we want to be simple, use what we need, but only that, and to be very generous with what we have, and to be in solidarity with those who are truly poor.